Hey guys, how you doing? Want to talk about knives as an investment. Figure I'd give you guys a little bit different background here. These are my African cichlids, and they're doing pretty strong. Some of you guys have been around the channel for a while. Remember when I set this tank up about a year and a half ago or so? Anyways, let's just get on to it. So, knives as an investment. Is it a good idea? I think knives are a great investment. For one thing, they're fun. I mean, if you are a knife person, obviously. They're just fun objects to own. It's always nice to have an investment that you can physically hold on to and have something tangible for your investment. Of course, you know, same kind of theory is something along the lines of precious metals or jewels or anything like that. But it is always nice to have something that you can hold in your hand, that you can put away. And personally, you know, I'm a knife person. It's nice to have a nice, useful tool. So what I have here, I'm just going to play with these while I kind of chat about this, is a Jason Clark. This is not my knife. I don't even know the model of this. It's a good friend of mine. Not Jason Clark, but the owner of this knife. And anyways, just gorgeous with the C-Tech on there. Nice tanto blade. Flips incredibly well. And then I have my EDC the other day, which is the 204P Paramilitary 2. So, I think if you buy right, of course this is with any investment, if you buy right, they can be great investments. I feel very confident that somebody could hand me $5,000 and within 2 years from now I could hand them back $6,000, maybe even $7,000. I mean, I know it's quite the stretch, but if you buy right, I think you can do that. Buy smart. So we're all kind of in the knife hobby, otherwise you probably wouldn't be watching this video. But what do I mean? Gosh, watch your new custom makers. Your people who are coming out, the guys who are charging, you know, maybe $300 to $500, and you can just see that their work, their fit and finish is just absolutely impeccable. And I'm just looking at this Jason Clark, you know, saying if I was going to invest in knives, I would pick up a few more pieces from him. You know, I feel like his work is going to appreciate, and I don't think you're going to get hurt getting in at maker's price or a good secondary price on a Jason Clark knife. I'm just using this as an, you know, because it's here in my hand. But there's a lot of makers like that. A lot of new makers are coming up. And if they have good fit and finish, you know, everything's, you guys know what to look for. If it's all flush, all your screws, everything's countersunk down. If they have an issue warranty work, I know for a fact that he's great to work with. Anyways, won't say any more about that. But you want to look for a maker that stands behind their work. So that's it for custom knives. I think that's it. Like, yeah, you could obviously write a whole book on this. Just some of my thoughts. I feel like you can have a pretty good return if you know what you're buying. Do not pay the inflated secondary market prices. I don't think you're always going to get hurt when you do that, but I think there's a better probability that you will, kind of like some of the hinderers. I know I have overpaid for a hinderer before, but as the market would have it, it kept going up in value, so I was actually able to sell it for, I think it was actually another $50 or maybe another $100 more than what it was, and then, you know, he went to the generation, what was it, 3? When they went to mid-tech on the blades and stuff. And then the hand ground original, I think Gen 1, Gen 2, the hand ground blades, it went up again in value. But so anyways, there was a situation where I overpaid for the knife on a secondary market price. The person who bought it from me overpaid on the secondary on my price, and then they are still able, I don't know what they did with it, but they could still probably make money on it if they flipped it again. So you're not always going to get hurt. The one thing you have to watch for, is there a bubble? So, was Hinderer bubble? Maybe for the Gen 3s. You know, maybe the CNC work, XM18s, yeah, maybe they were at a bubble. Maybe those, not maybe, they shouldn't have been selling for $800, $900 for a knife that was not completely made by Rick Hinderer's hands. To me, was always crazy. I believe I'd always said that. But if you are a collector, I can almost understand it. If you can't get one and you don't know, are they going to stop producing them, or are they going to change it? You're going to have the rare Gen 4 when the new Gen 5 comes out, or all that stuff. Or some of those guys, as Market would have it, talking about the XM18 again, the ones with no logo. I wish I had some XM18s. I actually have them in the other room there. There's actually 3 in the house right now. There's their 4. I don't know. I have a few logos and a few non-logos. So if you were to overpay on the logo one, on the non-logo, and then the new one comes out with the logo on it, now actually the more desirable one for most people are the ones without the logo. So it's a little bit of luck, but it is a lot of research and a lot of just living around the knife community. What I mean is checking the forums, checking the maker forums, checking their websites, browse around on YouTube, browse around on Instagram now is a great asset to the knife community. It really is. I mean, it's fastly becoming my first place I check to. Of course, YouTube, I will never go anywhere. I don't think a 15-second Instagram video will ever replicate what we're doing right here. It won't. It just won't. But Instagram is good to see what makers are doing what. And again, like I made that video before, how fast it is. So you can actually be on, I don't want to say any individual maker. There's a bunch on there. They could be in the shop, shoot the picture, and you get to see exactly what they're doing right there, or usually at least from that day, because it takes a second. It's like 2 buttons. Open the app, hit the camera button, snap the picture, send. It's that fast. So you see a lot of makers, and you can just keep up with what they're doing, and also you can spot, maybe not trends, but you can see what's coming up. Because I've actually found out about some material, like handle material, through Instagram that I had never even seen before. In fact, there's one guy who's making, and this may have been out a while, but I wasn't aware of it. It's a pine cone. Like they saw the pine cone down the center, and then fill it with colored resins, and some of them were like bright blues, bright oranges, bright greens. And when you lay it on the handle and you lay it out just right, it looks like fire or something's coming up with like wood grain in it. And then you have the resins kind of seeping down into that pine cone. It's really neat. I didn't know that really existed until I got on Instagram and started seeing the blocks of the raw product from the guy who produces that. So, I mean, it is quite the asset. It really is. I got off on that tangent, but what I'm saying is, if you live around the knife community, and you guys are doing it right now, you guys already know what I'm talking about, and you're in the loop, you will see some of the new stuff coming out. You will be able to base your purchasing decisions on what you think is going to be, the next big thing. Always got to watch, obviously with any investment, is there a bubble? Is it a fad item? Right? So right now, bearings on flippers and everything are all the rage, but you do have some big name makers who will not switch to bearings, and they won't do it. And I'll tell you, when I start making knives, I am not so sure, just from my experiences taking apart a lot of different knives, a lot of IKBS knives that are loose bearings versus some that are caged bearings versus some of the smoothest. This is IKBS. Some of the smoothest knives. Yes, it's so smooth. It really is. But I just have to wonder if he was really using this as a hard use knife, and some of the dust and stuff got down in there. You know, it wouldn't be as smooth, obviously, and with loose bearings, it's going to be harder to do any kind of maintenance on. Again, for a collector's piece, does that really matter? I don't know. I really don't. I mean, I don't have all the answers. I'm just trying to figure this stuff out like you guys are. But for me personally, I think it goes either way, because if you're collecting the knife for the sole purpose of you enjoying the piece, but also with investment in mind, meaning the item is going to appreciate, you should keep that item as pristine as possible, as mint as possible, as fresh from maker as possible, you know, to have it hold all that value. And carrying it around, beating it up, seeing if the actual dust inside the bearings and stuff, it could be for another video. I don't feel like one is better than the other, but I don't think bronze phosphor washers are going anywhere anytime soon. But I don't think IKBS is, or any of the caged bearing systems are either. I mean, they just serve their two different purposes. But anyways, tying that all up into collectors, you know, conversation. Yes, you should keep your knives pristine. Do you think certain technology is going to be fad technology? Are flippers here to stay, or are they a fad? You know, I think they're here to stay. They've been around for a while now. I know it started with, like, maybe not started, but like the Speed Safe Kershaws, like the easy opening where you just kind of tap it and it flies up. You guys know what Speed Safe is. You know, that's really not that popular anymore, or at least I don't think. Not with us guys and girls who are, guys and gals, guys and ladies, whatever the political way would be to say it. We seem to prefer manual action knives, unless you're collecting switchblades or something. But a lot of us, we don't like assisted opening. Is that what flippers are going to be? Are they a fad? Will they be out? I personally don't think so. Because when you take a knife and you put it into a flipper, there's so much more to consider. Different flippers, the geometry, the smoothness of the pivot, you know, does it flip out nice and snappy? The detent matters. Is there any blade play? All that, you know, and all that stuff shows that your knife is put together with more precision, and just gives you another way to evaluate that piece, and all that speaks to the maker, which again will drive that collector, you know, market up, and the price up, you know, the appreciation of the piece. So I think even if you didn't like flippers, it'd be a good idea to collect flippers, if that makes any sense. But that's all the stuff you just kind of have to balance, you know, what you want to do. Some people have collections of knives, and even if it's $1,000 custom, they're going to carry it. One of the cool things about collecting custom knives is that if you bought it from a nice collectible maker, a nice reputable maker, a guy that will take care of you, most of them are able to be refurbished and repaired. A good custom guy should be able to reblade your knife, should be able to rescale your knife. May take a while, may cost money. It can't work for free. But I think we all understand that, you know. But ideally, you could buy a Mayo knife at maker's price, carry it around for a year, or 2 years, or 5 years, send it back to Tom, and, you know, I don't know how long his process is, but I'm almost certain that he would take care of you, and you would get back a refurbished piece that was just like new when he sent it out. And I bet if you chipped a huge chip in the blade, I bet he would be able to reblade that knife, you know, and then your value just went right back up. So if you buy right, I don't think you can get hurt. Let's move on from custom knives. I don't know what we're looking at for time or if I'm even in focus. Hopefully I am. Factory knives. I think it's a good investment. You don't want to collect $500, $700, $800, $2,000 knives. Again, I wouldn't recommend high secondary market prices on some of these custom knives if you're collecting for, profit. Let's say it like that. If you're collecting for pleasure, then of course, if you have $3,000 to spend on a knife and you just want it, who am I to tell you that is wrong? It's just the way it is. It's just capitalist economy. Anyways, I think it's a great idea to collect custom knives. Just make sure that they're on their fit and finish. Make sure that they'll take care of you. Maybe send them an email. Make sure that they're going to send you some emails back. Even if you just send them an email, say, Jason Clark, I just received one of your knives. I just want you to know how impressed I am with it. And maybe say, if it needs recarbonizing later, will you be able to do it? He should be able to, within a week or a month, send you back an email and say, sure thing, man, no problem, I'd take care of you. That's a guy you want to invest your money in. That's, one of the things you want to look for in custom knives. Now, I'm trying to wrap this up pretty quick, but there's so much to say. Excuse me. Should have brought some water. All right, so looking at factory knives, are they good to collect? Do you think they'll appreciate in value? Without a doubt, they're going to appreciate. A lot of the limited runs from a reputable factory like Spyderco, I think ZT has more than proven itself. Some of the Benchmades, yeah, hard to say though with those gold class models, huh? When they get up to $1,000 for a gold class Benchmade, I don't know if that's going to appreciate. Not when you can go look at custom knives for $1,000. They have a new one. It's awesome. It's got lightning strike. I seen it on Instagram. It has makime inlay all in, and I know how difficult all that is to make sure all the axis lock and everything works all right. I don't know if it had a Damascus blade or not, but still, $1,000 is a lot for a factory knife. I don't care how limited it is. I don't care if it's a 1 of 10. It probably will go for $1,000 5 years from now, but will it appreciate from that? I don't think it would appreciate very much. So, factory knives, I think if you're buying the limited runs, I think if you're buying some of the wild Spydercos, like the, what was that? Is it Kukuri? What was the small? I had 2 of them, I believe. It had the foliage green handle with the Kukuri blade on it. Kukuri, I think it was Ed Shemp. A lot of the Ed Shemp stuff gets discontinued, usually after even 12 months or so. So I would say, even though they don't advertise that little Kukuri as a limited run, I think you can see that it's just kind of an out there design. It's not a design like the Para 2. I think you'd be okay buying those at factory price, sitting on them for a year. When they become discontinued, they go up. I remember back in the day when I was buying those Yohimbos, the original one, with the blue, it had like really bright blue G10 on it. And I was buying those for $75 on eBay. I don't know what they're going for now, but I guarantee it's more than the $100 that they originally sold for. And I was getting them discounted. So yeah, I think even buying a normal model, you're going to be good. Now just buying a Para 2, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be collectible. Not really appreciating value, unless it's a sprint run, kind of like this 204P. Being a sprint run, they only put out a limited amount, and there is a huge market for Spydercos and a huge market just for guys who like to try out different steels. So maybe I love 204P, not maybe I do, and I love the green handle. This sprint run just makes sense to me. Say I missed it for some reason, or I just hopped into the knife game a year from now and said, I gotta have that. $200, $300, really, if it's something you want, it's not, huge. So I think they're gonna at least appreciate, and sometimes, depending on what it is, they appreciate a lot. Like, look at the S90V militaries and the S90V para. You know, if Spyderco ever does, like, I don't even know if this exists yet, but if they ever do like a peel ply lightning strike handle on a limited run, it's going to appreciate. I mean, how can it not? So yeah, I actually followed the forums. It's probably been 5 years from ago, but there was somebody on there who collected about 20 or 30 different Spyderco sprint runs, and then held on to them for about a year and a half. And after they, you know, started drying up and you couldn't get them, they sold most of their collection and put down a really nice down payment on a car. Now, this is a younger person. I don't want to say guy, girl, names, anything like that, but it wasn't a Bentley or anything, but it was definitely like a nicer Toyota, Lexus type of vehicle. So certainly they did very well for their investment on, you know, what they invested. I think they're going to hold their value. It's always nice to have something tangible, something that you can hold. Just good advice for anything that you're going to invest in that's tangible. Make sure that you enjoy it. You're not going to stay in it. It's not going to be fun if you're collecting flipper knives and you don't like flippers, right? So just make it fun. I mean, that's should be, and it should go without saying, but just make it fun. If you want to get into maybe collecting for profit, I say like that because a lot of people think, oh, profit, oh, that's terrible. No. That's, you know, going to destroy the market. I agree to a certain extent. Some of the prices, you know, if you just travel around hitting all the knife shows, hitting all the lotteries for the Ernest Emerson custom Emersons, and you're turning around flipping them, yeah, you're kind of trashy, you know, just in my opinion, as a knife collector, a knife user. I personally wouldn't do it. There's nothing wrong with it. But, you know, a lot of people think, oh, collecting for profit, oh, that's terrible. But, I mean, maybe not with that in mind, but having your collection be worth more than you paid for it, should you ever need to or want to sell it down the road. It's always smart to invest your money in, you know, in that manner. Just something, you know, common sense advice there. If you guys see what I'm doing, if your Para 2 is actually off center, this is bizarro world right now. I know. My brain goes like a little squirrel. You can actually, because it's like a flow through construction with the liners and stuff, you can actually like banana the handle here a little bit and get your blade sitting centered, and it doesn't affect action at all. So I've just kind of been whacking it out of a line and then putting it back in a line. I don't know. Nervous habit, I guess. No, I shouldn't be nervous in front of you guys now, but you do. That's for another video. If you're not making videos, I think it's a smart idea to just make a video, because the more the merrier. And I know personally, I talk to a lot of people out there who have collections and advice and ideas that would just blow your mind, you know. I think the next nut and fancy, or the next big name is easily out there. So I think there's a lot of potential out there. Is it hard to make your first video? Yeah. It's hard to make your 100th video, your 300th video. I never feel quite comfortable, but anyways. All that aside, I think now's the best time there has ever been to be a knife enthusiast, whether you're looking for performance, whether you're looking for steel, whether you're looking for sharpening systems, you really want to experience sharp knives, and you really enjoy sharpening with the Wicked Edge, with the Edge Pro, with all the freehand stuff that's been out, and all the advice and knowledge is certainly easier to get a hold of than it has ever been. And then you got all your custom makers. You got people blending, you know, handmade with CAD designs, and, you know, CNC machining, which is making all the 3D crazy stuff available, and just an incredible amount of talent out there. and it's just like exponentially growing. It's like more and more, and next year it'll just be crazy. And then with the power of YouTube and Instagram and the forums, it just, everything feeds off another. And I think it's now is the best time. If if you was a knife collector, we're living in the absolute best time. Just my opinion, guys. Take it for what it is. Knives as investments, yes. Just buy right. If you're going to invest in like the all black para, know that you're probably not going to see a nice, sizable return on your money. But I think you know that going in. It's going to be a nice tool. But if you chase down some of the sprint runs, get on some of the pre-order lists for some of the limited run ZTs, keep your eye out. Watch Instagram, watch the forums, watch YouTube. Just live with us, I guess is what I'm saying here. And I think you can make really good decisions on how you should be investing your money. Whether it's just for fun, hey, I just want cool tools to put in my pocket, and if they're worth what I paid for them later on, should I have to sell them? Awesome. If they're worth even more, awesome. If I could maybe not take a hit, as bad as maybe if I just went around throwing money at everybody's face, just taking everything in. Yeah, just be smart. So that's my advice. We're going to get out of here on that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the background, a little something new. It kind of puts me in a weird position because I have to sit real low here. But anyways, we'll figure out something. I want to have some more one-on-one talks. Not really one-on-one, but more stuff. More maybe theoretical based, just knife talk, really. And then maybe roll some different, maybe maintenance footage. So maybe me just talking over the back. I already made a video about this. And then maybe some close-ups of some different knives. Maybe we'll take them apart, get a look at the guts. I won't explain anything about the knife. We'll just talk about certain topics. So let me know if you guys have a topic. I've got a big list of stuff I'd like to discuss, but I'm always open for whatever you guys want. So that's it. Hopefully you guys have a good night. Not sure how long the video is. We're just going to get out of here. See ya.